to my channel. Today I am going to give you guys my top 10 favorite palettes as of right now. Now, some of these have been my favorites for a while. Some of them are new to the pile, but these are palettes that I can't stop using. I don't put down. They have their own individual place in my collection, but I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, but these are definitely the ones that I reach for the most. I'm not going to put them in any order because if I had to pick my favorite, like if I had to do like a countdown, it would be too difficult to do that, you guys. It would be way too difficult because I love each one of these the same. It's almost like your children. You know how you love your kids the exact same way? Like you love different things about their personality and, you know, the joy that they bring you in different ways. That's kind of how these palettes are. They really are. So before I get started on the palettes, I wanted to talk about a few eye products that are not palettes. So these are from Huda Beauty. These are the Matte and Metal Melted Eyeshadows. I have 4 of these. I actually intend to buy more. I really, really like these. These are very, very easy to use. I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about them before. I kind of felt like when they first came out, some people loved them and some people didn't. I don't know if people just didn't know how to use them, or maybe they just overall didn't like them. They didn't understand it, and you know, it just didn't work out for them, which is, you know, that could totally be the case. For me, I absolutely love these. These are very easy for me to use, and this is something that I reach for when I'm in a hurry and I want something beautiful on the eye, but I don't want to have to take a lot of time to do it, especially if you don't want any fallout. If you don't want any fallout from like a powder, shadow, or anything like that, this is your dream come true. This one in particular is my favorite shade. This one is in the shade Private Jet and Shimmering Sunset. It dries down really easy. So this is the matte and this is the shimmer. The shimmer is a beautiful like rose gold. All I do is just take and put a few dots in my crease, take my brush and just brush it out. You can add more where you need it and blend it out. They are so easy to blend. The formula on these is really good in my opinion. The shimmering part of these are very easy to use. I would suggest using a thin application of these just because if they get too thick, they can kind of build up almost like the Stila. I actually prefer this formula over the Stila, and I have so many of the Stila liquid eyeshadows. I really love them, but I actually prefer this formula a little bit more. I don't feel like it's as thick or wet filling as the Stilas, and it dries a little bit softer than the Stila formula. So these are really, really good. Scott Barnes actually used one of these on Jennifer Lopez's eye look for the Met Gala. So these are really phenomenal. I really love these. Next up are these scattered light glitter eyeshadow foils. So I have 2 shades. I have the shade Smoke and I have the shade Foil. So this one is Foil and this one is Smoke. Now I just put a thin layer of these on my arm just so you guys could see kind of the undertone of these. But the thing that I like about these is these just blend so beautifully on the eye. I really love the formula from Hourglass. I really hope they come out with more shades of these because I really, really enjoy the formula. The other 2 are from Tarte. So these are the Chrome Paint Shadow Pots. I have them in the shade Top Yacht and Park Avenue Princess. These are similar to the ones from Hourglass. Very easy to use. Put your finger in there and kind of really blend it on the eye. Super easy, super beautiful, and pretty affordable as well. The other one that I want to talk about is from Natasha Denona. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this. I'm sure you guys have probably heard me talk about this before, but I did want to include this in the video in case you haven't. But this is the Chroma Crystal Top Coats. This one is in the shade Peach. It is my favorite peach shade of all time. I absolutely love it, but I do not like the formula on these because I have to scrape it. It gets really hard panned, like super quick. So in order for me to use it, I have to scrape the top of it and kind of get it a little bit crumbly, and then take a brush that's been dampened, pick up the crumbles, and then dampen the brush again and then apply it. Now don't get me wrong, once I get it applied, it's absolutely like the perfect peach on the eye. It's so gorgeous, but I don't really love the formula. So Anyway, I did want to include that in here because, I mean, come on. It's the perfect peach color. It really is. And finally, I wanted to talk about this. I've been talking about this a lot lately since I reviewed this and compared it to the Tom Ford liquid eyeshadow. But this one is the Eyes to Mesmerize in the shade Rose Gold. And I absolutely love this formula. I've already ordered 2 more of these because I absolutely love the formula. It is so quick, so easy. It just brushes on, do a thin layer. The thing that I do recommend with this, if you're having a struggle with applying this, maybe it's creasing really bad on you, I recommend putting down some sort of an eyeshadow primer and then setting the eyeshadow primer with some sort of a powder. That kind of gives a barrier for your oils and stuff from your eyelids to seep through and create creasing in this product. So if you've tried this and you're having issues with it creasing, I would try a eyeshadow primer, you know, dust it with some powder and kind of lock down your oils and then put this on top. Let's move on to the palettes. So again, these are in no particular order because it's too hard, you guys. It's too hard. The first one is the Exagger-eyes. You guys know this is probably my favorite quad out of everything Charlotte Tilbury. This one is my favorite only because the shades are dimensional. Like, you know, I like the Pillow Talk palette, but the shades are not dark enough for me. This one, I can use just this palette. I love this shade. In fact, you can see I'm almost out of it. Like, I've dug so much in there because I love this palette so much. This is a palette that I will grab and take with me on vacation or take with me on a weekend trip because this is such a dependable palette for me. In my opinion, the Exagger-eyes and the Dolce Vita are probably my favorite within the quads, but this is a nice quad. These 2 from Natasha Denona, oh my gosh, I love these 2 minis. I love the Camel palette as well, but I didn't include it in here only because I have other palettes that are kind of similar. I don't know. Anyway, the Camel palette works really good too. But these 2 minis, in fact, I'm wearing this palette on my eyes right now. I love these 2 palettes. Like, these 2 are phenomenal. Phenomenal palettes. Great quality. I mean, 25 bucks, in my opinion, is not bad for a Natasha Denona, even though the shadows are teeny little shadows, but in my opinion, I'm getting my use out of them. I'm definitely getting my 25 bucks out of them. I really am, because these are really good quality, really dependable, and I love the shades in here, and I love this green. This green is so beautiful. It's just, oh, it's so pretty on the eye. So I love both of these. Again, this one is the mini nude, and this one is the mini star. The peachy one that I absolutely love is this. This is the Tickled Peach palette from Too Faced. And I think this is in the $20 range. I can't remember exactly what it is. Now, I also like the Viseart one. So this one is the peach palette from Viseart. And let's see, I think this is the Petit Pro number 4. This is a really nice peach palette. So both of these, I would say, are really good options for those of you out there like me that love peach. Both of these are a really, really good option for a peach eyeshadow look. The other one that just really has my heart is this one from Colourpop. This is the Sweet Talk palette. I love this palette. I'm obsessed with it. It is everything feminine. The shadows in here are so gorgeous on the eye, and I really love this formula. This is kind of like a powdery type formula, like a small, I don't even know how to describe this. Like, this is a phenomenal palette for the summer. If you guys haven't picked this up, oh, it's so good. Now, I am going to be working on creating that video. I know when I reviewed this, I said I was going to do more looks with this, and I just haven't had a chance to. Ugh, but I'm gonna work on it. The other one from Colourpop that I love, 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 love is the Brown Sugar palette. This one is the Karichi and Colourpop collaboration. I love this palette. This is a perfect cool tone, neutral, warm tone palette. So in my opinion, when I first looked at this, I thought, oh, okay, this is a nice warm tone palette, but actually it's not. It's a nice cool tone. So you have your warm tones here, then you have your shimmers, and then you have your cool tones. What I like about this is the layout of this palette. You have your shimmers down here, which you can create any look you want. She gave you the option of having the warm tones at the top and then the cool tones at the bottom. You can kind of mix and match and create like a neutral tone look or whatever, but these 3 shades right here are absolutely perfect with every matte shade in here. Multiple looks you can create with this. I had to include this in here because I love this brown sugar palette. Okay, the other love of my life that is so affordable, I love this palette. This is the BH Cosmetics Desert Oasis palette. I have been talking about this palette since I reviewed it last year. I love the shades in this palette. All of the shades are beautiful. The highlighters in this palette, like this shade right here, I think that one's Mirage. Oh my gosh, it is stunning. Every time I pull the palette up, it kind of makes my camera go weird, but this palette is such a beautiful palette. The shades blend beautifully. I always have kind of a hit and miss when it comes to BH Cosmetics. So sometimes I'll get a palette and it just blends beautifully and the formula is just perfect. And then other palettes I have to work a little bit harder. This one I don't have to work hard for. Sometimes some of the darker shades, like the shade Nightscape, this one right here, that one I have to blend a little bit more, like it can get a little bit patchy, but overall that's the only negative. I've used every shade in this palette. By this point I've used every single shade and I'm obsessed. Even if you're not on a budget, but if you're on a budget and you want a really good neutral palette, this is awesome. The other one, I love this one. This one, you guys know, is just one of my absolute favorites. This is a Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I love every shade in here. One of my favorite eyeshadow looks to create is using this burnt orange, the rustic, and the cypress umber, and then putting like the glistening on my crease. I love this palette. It is perfect. So many people love the Norvina palette, the Modern Renaissance, even the new Riviera palette. This one for me is my favorite. Like, I will always love this palette. I don't think this palette could ever do me wrong. It's a very dependable palette and I love it. We have I love this palette so much. This is the KKW Beauty Classic palette. Now I have all of her palettes and this one by far is my favorite. I do like the Mario palette, don't get me wrong, but this one just has every shade I need. This shade right here in particular, this first shade, is so perfect for the inner corner, but I love this palette. Like, I do. I love it. And even though it only has 3 shimmer shades and the rest are mattes, but this is my go-to palette when I am using like products like this. So from like the ones from Tarte or the ones from Hourglass or even the new one from Charlotte Tilbury. All of the shadows that I have in the pots, I can use any of these shades with this palette because this palette has all the tones that I need. Like, it has this beautiful shades for like the rose gold. The shade Smoke from Hourglass looks so gorgeous with these 2 right here. So this is the palette that I reach for when I am using these type of products. This palette has those tones that I need. So this is just like, I don't know. I would say out of all the palettes in my collection, this is the one I use the most, which I know sounds crazy because my palette looks brand new. You want to know why? Because my daughter stole my other one. I wasn't too mad because I had reached pan on this shade and this shade. So I wasn't too mad when she took that one because I wanted to buy me a new one anyway. So I've only had this one for about a couple weeks now, but I love this palette. It's so good. And yeah, so those are my like ride or die holy grail palettes that I have in my collection right now that I cannot put down, can't stop playing with. And yeah, so that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys again for all the love that you guys show me and this channel. It means the world to me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day filled with love and happiness. I will see you guys in my next video and I love you all so much. Bye.